This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
(8:45). This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Danushka Madhavala and read by Indrani Senanayaka. The headlines. The Cabinet nods to release water from the Samanalawava Reservoir for agricultural purposes. State Minister Chandrakanthan ensures stable country through mutual trust and inclusive governments. Acting President, a new judge appointed to Court of Appeal. President charts path to strengthen nation's healthcare system. The public has been informed to be alert regarding dehydration that can occur due to the prevailing excessive heat. In foreign news, Rahul Gandhi returns to India's Parliament as MP. The Cabinet of Ministers has approved to release the required amount of water from the Samanalawava Reservoir to the Udawalawe Reservoir for agricultural purposes while finding alternative solutions for the national power requirement. State Minister of Power and Energy D.V. Chanika says accordingly the relevant authorities have been informed to release water for agricultural purposes. The President's comprehensive approach to the 13th Amendment aims for lasting solutions amidst diverse views. Mr. Sivanesathurey Chandrakanthan, the Minister of State for Rural Road Development, reassured the people of the South that they need not be concerned about the views expressed by politicians from the North and the East regarding the 13th Constitutional Amendment. Addressing the news conference held at the Presidential Media Centre today under the theme, Collective Path to a Stable Country, the Minister emphasized that the challenges faced by the Tamil people can only be resolved through mutual trust and understanding between all parties involved. He noted that when the 13th Amendment was proposed, the current President Wickremesinghe was a member of that cabinet. Hence, he expressed confidence that President Ranil Wickremesinghe will offer a fair and comprehensive solution to address the concerns of everyone through the 13th Constitutional Amendment. State Minister Chandrakanthan further said, President Ranil Wickremesinghe is actively working to implement the 13th Amendment, which aims to address power-sharing issues in the country. Recently, he called for an all-party conference inviting representatives from Parliament to gather their perspectives on the matter. Minister Sivanesathurey Chandrakanthan expressed confidence that the current President, who was part of the cabinet that introduced the 13th Amendment Bill, will propose a lasting solution to the power-sharing matter. Court of Appeal Judge Sobita Rajakarna has been sworn in as the acting president of the Court of Appeal before President Ranil Wickremesinghe. Meanwhile, the President's media division reported that High Court Judge M.C.B. Sanjeeva Moraes has taken oath as the Court of Appeal judge. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. We continue with local news. Health Minister Kehelia Ramukwala says that the National Dangerous Drugs Control Board Act and the Sri Lanka Medical Councils Act will be rescinded. The aim of the move is to clear the path for the health sector to move into a more reasonable and open market. The government has allocated more than 30 billion rupees to purchase medical supplies. The Umaoya hydropower project has been completed. The ambassador of Iran to Sri Lanka, Hashim, informed Sri Lankan Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena that the project can be implemented at the end of this year. He expressed these views at a meeting held at Temple Trees. with the Premier and the representatives of the relevant company. Accordingly, 120 megawatts will be added to the national grid. This would further provide irrigation to over 50,000 acres of land. 2 groups of experts would inspect the Umaoya project within the next 2 months, after which electricity generation and provision of irrigation would commence soon. Director of the Lady Ridgeway Children's Hospital Specialist Dr. G. Vijayasurya says that the people should be vigilant regarding dehydration that can occur due to the prevailing high drought situation in the country. Children can be affected due to this reason too. The dehydration can be prevented by consuming more water. That ends the local segment of news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Minister of Power and Energy Kanchana Vijayasekara says that the Ceylon Electricity Board has planned for an uninterrupted supply of power island-wide throughout the year with no scheduled power cuts. In a Twitter post, Minister Vijayasekara asserted that currently the full capacity of available power plants is in use for power generation. Meanwhile, a meeting was held at the President's office yesterday with the CEB and the Department of Irrigation in order to discuss the options related to ensuring a continuous supply of power with no scheduled power cuts. During the meeting, details related to the power generation for the next year, the release of water for agriculture, hydropower capacity and thermal power options available will be shared and discussed.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Watch Live is brought to you by
CIB Janajaya Vasana. Unbelievable discounts and offers throughout August from CIB Janajaya Vasana. Come today itself.
The Ministry of Environment says that measures have been taken to ban the usage of several plastic materials during the next 2 weeks. Accordingly, single-use plastic materials such as plastic spoons, yogurt spoons and several other plastic products will be banned. That came to you in Watchlight.
CIB Janajaya Vasana. Unbelievable discounts and offers throughout August from CIB Janajaya Vasana. Come today itself.
World News, the headlines first. Rahul Gandhi returns to India's parliament as MP. Imran Khan's political party says his life under threat in jail. Historic India moon mission, Chandrayaan-3 sends new photos of lunar surface. Indian opposition leader Rahul Gandhi has returned to Parliament for the first time since he was convicted in a criminal defamation case. The Congress party leader has lost his lawmaker status in March after he was sentenced to 2 years in jail. He was reinstated as MP today, 2 days after the Supreme Court suspended his conviction. Congress leaders celebrated his return by shouting slogans and distributing sweets outside Parliament. Leaders of other opposition parties also expressed their joy over Mr. Gandhi's return to Parliament. Mr. Gandhi is a Congress party MP from Wayanad in the southern state of Kerala. Jailed former Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan's party says it is concerned about his safety and security in prison, where his life is under threat. Imran Khan, aged 70, was arrested and sent to jail for 3 years following his conviction in a corruption case by a court in capital Islamabad on Saturday. Shah Mahmood Qureshi, vice chairman of Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf party, told the media the former prime minister is not being allowed to meet his lawyers for the last 2 days. He said the party leadership is extremely concerned about Mr. Khan's well-being. Qureshi said the jail in Punjab province where Khan was imprisoned did not have adequate facilities that must be granted to him due to his status as an ex-premier. India's space agency has released the first images of the moon taken by the Chandrayaan-3 spacecraft which entered lunar orbit on Saturday. The images saw craters of lunar surface getting larger and larger as the spacecraft draws closer. Chandrayaan-3's lander and rover are due to reach the surface on the 23rd of August. If successful, India will be the first country to perform a controlled soft landing near the South Pole. It will also become only the fourth to achieve a soft landing on the moon after the US, the former Soviet Union and China. After the spacecraft orbited the Earth for about 10 days, it was sent into the trans-lunar orbit last Tuesday and successfully injected into the lunar orbit on Saturday. To end this bulletin of world news, the headlines again. Rahul Gandhi returns to India's parliament as MP. Imran Khan's political party says his life under threat in jail. Historic India moon mission Chandrayaan-3 sends new photos of lunar surface. That ends this bulletin of world news.
Development News is brought to you by
Vacancies for women from Desha Sri Lanka for housemaids in Kuwait, Oman and Saudi Arabia for ages 23 to 58 years. Contact number 037 7500 500.
Creating automobile history. Ideal Motors will be launching Sri Lanka's first electric car, Moksha, to the market in November 2023. The mentor behind this project, Chairman Ideal Motors Nalin Velgama, says the Ideal Moksha is fitted with a 22.46 kilowatt-hours lithium battery that provides a range of up to 200 kilometers on a single charge by plugging into a 15-amp domestic charger overnight. The Moksha electric car battery is being assembled in Sri Lanka.
Vacancies for women from Desha Sri Lanka for housekeepers, home cooks, caretakers and home nurses in Kuwait, Oman, Saudi Arabia and Singapore for ages 23 to 57 years. Salaries starting from 156,000 rupees. Interviews with foreign agents are now on. Come whether you have a passport or not. Branches, Colombo, Kurunagala, Anuradhapura and Mathura. Contact number 037 7500 500.
England scraped through to the quarter-finals of the Women's World Cup with a dramatic penalty shootout victory over Nigeria despite Lauren James's red card. Georgia Stanway fired wide with the opening penalty, but Nigeria missed their next two efforts and the European champions secured their spot in the last 8 when Chloe Kelly smashed into the winning kick. In an outburst of frustration, James stamped on Michelle Alozi's back in the 87th minute after losing possession and was rightly shown a red card following a video assistant referee review.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු වීර හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The Barbie film has hit the $1 billion mark just 70 days after it was released, according to distributor Warner Brothers. The movie will finish the weekend with $1.03 billion in ticket sales at the global box office, it said in a statement yesterday. It means Greta Gerwig has become the first woman to reach the milestone as a solo director. Warner Brothers described it as a watershed moment. That was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු වීර හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
On to economic news. The UN Food and Agriculture Organization has said global prices for food commodities like rice and vegetable oil have risen for the first time in months after Russia pulled out of a wartime agreement allowing Ukraine to ship grain to the world and India restricted some of its rice exports. The FAO Food Price Index, which tracks monthly changes in the international prices of commonly traded food commodities, increased 1.3% in July and June, driven by higher costs for rice and vegetable oil. It was the first uptick since April, when higher sugar prices bumped the index up by slightly for the first time in a year.
Weather report.
And finally, we take a look at the weather report. Several spells of light showers will occur in the western and Sabragama provinces and in the Gaul, Mathura, Kandy and Nuwara districts. Showers or thundershowers may occur at a few places in the eastern and the Uva provinces during the evening or at night. Mainly fair weather will prevail elsewhere over the island. To end tonight's news broadcast, the headlines again. The Cabinet nods to release water from the Samanalawava Reservoir for agricultural purposes. State Minister Chandrakantan ensures stable country through mutual trust and inclusive governance. Acting President and new judge appointed to Court of Appeal. President charts path to strengthen nation's healthcare system. The public has been informed to be alert regarding dehydration that can occur due to the prevailing excessive heat. In foreign news, Rahul Gandhi returns to India's Parliament as MP. That ends tonight's news broadcast.